There is no server, there is no single computer holding your file. You are not downloading from anyone, you are downloading from everyone. So, hello, I'm Piyush, and this is the second video in the series of building torrent from scratch, and it's a build in public initiative. So, I'll be giving the updates, and moreover, since it's a more tutorial based video, I mean, it's kind of a vlog for you. So, I will walk you through the process of how you can make your own torrent client and how exactly it works. So at first I will explain that, then let's see what I have made and what are the updates. So this is the stuff which I did learn, and let's get started. So suppose uh, we want to have like a system where we can download a file, and this is your computer and you want to download a video. How would you download a video? That's a really good question. So I want a video. Like, if you want to download a video, all you have to do is you need to find a server, go to it, ask for the video, and it will give you the video. That's a pretty easy thing. But don't you think about it? It's not efficient. I mean, there are a couple of issues. Let's break them one by one. First of all, there is only one stream of download. So as per network, there is some certain amount of data that can be transferred at once. So yeah, there is one stream of download only. How can we improve that? Maybe you might think, let's do things a little bit parallel. Let's like break the whole video in three pieces. Okay, that's good, that's good, you are going really good. And let's ask for each piece one by one. That's a pretty clever approach. You can do that, you can do that. And actually, if you have been there for like a little long with Android phones, you must have seen some sort of downloaders which does this, maybe ADM and something they called it, advanced downloader. So I mean, even Windows had this kind of downloader, and maybe wget also supports that, I don't know. So yeah, that's you can download a file at different point. In one file you are like downloading at different indexes, and then finally you are combining that to get the final file. That's a good call, makes it very fast. But are we actually doing the best? I mean, can we do something better? Yeah, the easiest thing is that we all have learned is like you can actually do horizontal, I mean vertical scaling. Let's not go for the horizontal. I mean, there is certain thing you could have done with the horizontal scaling here only. So here also let's go for some sort of vertical scaling. We have done with the horizontal scaling. Cool. How would I do with the vertical scaling? Very easy. Let's add servers. Each server will have a piece, and I will download from each server. And as good as my internet is, I'll get the best speed out here. That's a good thing. And why not improve here only? The thing is, actually, one server is not serving only to you, it's serving to multiple people. So it's better to have multiple servers. That's a clever approach. Yeah, that's a pretty clever approach. Now, what? The question is, that's a good approach, but how will I know that which server has which file? I mean, in the internet, there are lots of servers and each have some files. In any peer-to-peer network, whether it's a WebRTC, whether it's a server or some Torrent or whatever it is, you need some way to find the IP address for this. Okay, so Torrent has its own way. WebRTC does have its own way. I mean, WebRTC doesn't. I mean, it's not like a fixed way to do it, but it's kind of a way you can do it in the torrent. Other than that, there are more peer-to-peer networks in which you can like use different technologies, like you can share that over WhatsApp. I mean, no one does it, but you can share it over web sockets actually. So, and if you're I mean still confused what exactly is a peer-to-peer network, then believe me, it's like just a simple thing. There is one peer there is one peer, they're communicating to each other. That's a peer-to-peer network. So for downloading from each server, you need to know each peer, and then you will be able to download the piece. How would I know that? How would I know my peer? So to know the list of peers, let's make a list of peers. That's another pretty clever approach. That's another pretty clever approach. Yeah. Now this is the list of peers which we have, and we all will, every server, whenever whatever peer it is, it will announce that I am connected to the network. I am connected to the network. And now let me call this list of peer as tracker. And actually, this list of peers is called as tracker. So now we have a tracker. Now we have everyone communicating to it. It does contain a list of peers. So if my computer wants to know what are the peers available, it can find it from there. Still good. Can we improve? Can we improve? Maybe we can now download everything. Can we improve? Maybe in the network there is a fourth server and it doesn't contain any piece. It doesn't have any piece. Then what will we do? In like the way we are doing, we would find all the peers. We would ping everyone the way you can see here. That do you have piece one, or do you have the piece? Do you have the piece, kind of thing. So if that's the case, then this peer is wasted. I mean, it doesn't have anything. So believe me or not, it's not giving you anything. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a real problem. So how would you solve this? I mean, if you look at this, we can actually add the file hash, hash of the file. And in torrent we call it actually info hash, but yeah, here I'm just writing it as a file hash. So these four, first peers, I mean the peer 1, peer 2, peer 3 and me, these and me, we all are operating on file hash 1. Okay. And then there is peer 2 which is operating on file hash 2. So if I match the file hash, I can know that okay, this peer is not what I want, and rest all is good. Okay, cool. So now this is the list of peers, hashes. Everything is good. Everything is nice. Now I can download file from the peers I want. I won't communicate to the peers which are not needed, and yeah, we are doing really good. And we have a tracker now. So actually implementing a tracker is a little very simple. I mean, not a tracker is that simple. I mean, yeah, it is simple if you think about it, but uh, communicating to it is very simple. In a torrent network you just have a specification, a way to call it. So if you just go for this BitTorrent specification, there is a very good explanation of how to do that. So yeah, go check it out. Now the thing is, we have all these things. We can download the file. Can we do something better? How do we know which peer has a piece? One thing you might think is, let's add the piece here, like piece. I do have piece one. I do have piece two. That's a good approach, but have you thought about it? Won't peer one would like to download more pieces? I mean, let's think about it. That's a future thing. I'll show you again. So yeah, think about it further. Let's think about it. So yep, let's talk about how do you communicate to peer. So to communicate to peer, you first need to do a handshake. That's a pretty important thing. Then you need to ask, do you have a piece? And it will say, yeah, I do have piece one. And if it have multiple pieces, it will say, I do have piece one, two, three, four, five. And then you can ask for the piece you want, and yeah, it will send you the piece. Yeah, you can combine that later. That's a good thing. Otherwise, what will happen is it will say, I don't have a piece. I don't have a piece. Now what happens is it will sleep for 5 minutes or certain time. It's not like you have a fixed time. You can sleep for any time, and then ask it again. Why ask it again? Maybe this have downloaded some. Yeah, I mean, looking at this, if you think about it, you can also start a port. I mean listen to a port and start serving, this peer is also listening and serving, listening and serving, listening and serving, listening and serving. Everyone is like sending pieces to each other, and at the end, what's the end goal is? Every peer should have one, I mean all pieces. So we have all of the complete file. And if you just think about it, that's actually the torrent network. So now question is, how do I know which tracker to ask for the peers? Like, that's a pretty good question. So how would you know that which tracker to ask for the peers? Or how do I know that peer is not sending a malicious file? Isn't it? Like that's a too big concern you need to solve. So that is being solved using a torrent file. So if you have ever used torrent, you would have like seen a file like something like mymovie.torrent, you dolari anti-torrent. So that's actually coming from here. Now the thing is, actually that file have couple of stuff like metadata, total size and stuff. There is a piece length. So we saw what is a piece, and this piece should have some certain length. Then there are piece hashes. Each piece have its own hash that solves this. So if I already have a hash of the piece, no one is sending me a malicious file because I can check whether it's a right or wrong thing. And if it's a wrong thing, I can simply drop it and ask it from someone else. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Now there is a tracker URL too. So not every tracker would have every file or a connection to every peers. No, I mean like you can understand this. So peers, it might have a file and it might go to certain tracker. There might be multiple trackers going on. So yeah, that's why we have a tracker URL, and info hash is actually the file hash I did talk about. So this is what tracker would actually track. Now let's talk about the final bit of thing, that's how actually a file is being shown or distributed. So a file is distributed as pieces, which we saw, and each pieces is broken into blocks. And yeah, why to break it into blocks? The thing is, you need to download. If you want to download very fast, then you need to download in buffers, like small chunks. So piece itself is quite big, probably a few MB or like a MB or something like that. So you might wish to have something like 48 KB or something, maybe smaller than that. So that's a block, and with this block you can download the thing, and each piece is intended to have certain size. We try to have like fixed size, but the last piece doesn't have the fixed size usually. So yeah, with that everything you kind of understand it. I mean, if you think about it, it's the overall torrent network, and that's how we download the file, we serve the file. Yeah, you might be sitting at the pier and there is someone else, and maybe you are someone else, or someone else is sitting at the pier, and we all are like sharing file to each other. And yeah, about the handshake protocol, you can actually come to this specification again, and there is a very good explanation of peer wire protocol, like that's the peer wire protocol, and it's in the TCP. To be honest, this protocol also is also available in the UDP, so you can have a UDP like implementation. But usually we have TCP. There are a couple of torrent client which does use UDP, and to be honest, torrent doesn't have a very strict rule on what to make and what not to. So you can always decide what to make and what not to, kind of thing. So yeah, and there are few steps: choking, I am interested, peer is choking, peer is interested, kind of. So if like both of them are interested, then they share file, I mean then they share pieces, like that. So yeah, it's a pretty good explanation on that. Now let me show what I have made. I mean, if you got to understand this, right now I can actually connect to the real peers, and first of all connect to the proper tracker to find the peers and do a handshake. Yeah, I don't have a way to like download file right now. That's not implemented. So if you just check the log, there is like config file is loaded. That the torrent file which I told you about, and then there is this tracker, which is like Ubuntu uses its own tracker, Ubuntu tracker. So that's what I told you. And then we from tracker we have like there are two trackers which we got, and from both tracker we got like some number of peers, and total number of peers found was like 35. And then we try to connect to each peer and try to do a handshake. Then yeah, that's the last thing after the handshake. That's okay. Like peer can disconnect, or I'm like they can say that I am joking and stuff, but that's not implemented yet. So overall, that's the update, and yeah, thank you.